Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and before we begin, just a quick thing. So I'm currently planning the live stream, but I need your help to decide on a couple of things. Obviously, the opinions from everyone were quite divided on whether the stream should be on YouTube or Twitch. So to make things easier, I want everyone watching this to click the card in the top right of the video right now and vote in the poll so I can get a good idea of where you prefer the stream to be. You can either vote for Twitch, YouTube, or the third option if you're okay with either one. There's also a second poll after that one where I'd like to know if you'd prefer a weekend or a weekday stream. Now, I'm leaning towards a weekend stream myself, but I'd like to know what you all think first. There will be another video announcing when everything is going to happen once I get all this info sorted, so quickly vote so I can finalize things. Now, on to today's video. Today's video is all about teamwork. Yes, I know, it's something that should be a no-brainer, but it's something that I've genuinely been thinking about. Now, I play a lot of solo quick play most of the time, and quite often when I'm on the losing side, I find it's very easy to blame the team, but I started analysing the situation a bit more, and I made some comparisons to situations where the team I was on ended up winning and when we ended up losing. So one of the main things that I noticed that was different was the lack of team synergy, or rather the presence of team synergy. And what I mean by this is which heroes everyone is playing and whether their heroes' abilities were being combined in each situation. Now, many times if I'm playing a damage dealer such as Pharah or Soldier 76, I tend to stick close to the tank, and if the D.Va or Reinhardt I'm sticking with is shielding at the appropriate moments, I find that I can do a lot more damage without too much fear of being overrun. And what's key to this is that the tank isn't looking to do damage. Instead, they're trying to protect you while you dish out the damage instead. And it really goes hand in hand. If I don't do my job of damaging and getting kills, the tank will eventually take too much damage, and they won't be able to shield me effectively, and then the push ends up falling apart. In the same way, though, if the tank doesn't block effectively, or gets too aggressive, they could end up getting killed, and then the push also breaks down. And the same goes for ultimate abilities. You might often see that some ultimate abilities are not built for outright damage. While there are some that are very effective at it, such as Junkrat's Riptire, the majority of ultimates work best when combined. For example, Zarya's Graviton Surge is best used to pull an enemy team together in order to make them easier to wipe out, but on its own it doesn't do a lot of damage. And the same can be said for Reinhardt's Earth Shatter. When used, it merely knocks enemies down, and while this can make them very vulnerable to Reinhardt himself, it's not as effective as when combined with the damage from other characters. It even goes as far as the basic abilities of some heroes as well. Zenyatta is a perfect example of a character that relies on team synergy. For example, when marking targets with his Discord Orb, Zenyatta can solo kill them far more effectively. However, when it comes to taking down large targets such as tanks, this is where team play can really shine. If the team directs their damage towards a marked target, they simply won't stand a chance. Take Roadhog, for example. Roadhog has a large pool of health, which makes him very hard to take down, and his self-healing ability can make that even harder, but on his own he doesn't have any shielding abilities. So you combine the damage resistance debuff from Zenyatta with the health pool that Roadhog actually has, and you can see how much faster he can be taken down. And if you of course combine that with Ana and her Nano Grenade ability as well, you can find that you can cancel his healing ability completely, and that will make him a much faster target to kill. So there's a lot of things in there that require multiple characters to actually pull off. Now, team synergy can be especially important for some characters to be even useful at all. Take the internet's most loved and hated robot, Bastion. Now, Bastion has the potential to deal the highest possible DPS in the game, and without proper team support, however, Bastion is quite literally a sitting duck waiting to be sniped off. In particular, it's what makes the Bastion and Reinhardt payload tactic so effective. Now, you might see this in quick play very often. You put a Reinhardt and a Bastion on top of the payload, where the Reinhardt is shielding Bastion, and Bastion just simply clears the way forward. Now, of course, this is perfectly counterable, But what makes it so effective is because the high damage of Bastion is able to be maintained because Bastion is able to be protected. By protecting Bastion in its turret form, it can then freely deal extremely high damage to enemies without being killed as easily, but on its own, it's simply a free kill for the other team. Very often when I don't let the tank know what it is that I'm trying to do, I find that if I'm playing Bastion and I go sit on the payload, I tend to just die immediately because there's nobody there to support me and I'm on my own. And that's really just because there was nobody prepared to pull that same maneuver off as well. The times when I have gotten it to work is either I've been in a group or I have told the tank before that I wanted to try doing that, and if they were okay with it, then we went ahead with it. All this said, it's something that should be a no-brainer, but often there's not much of this happening all that often in quick play. Perhaps it's just because it's meant to be the casual mode and that maybe people aren't as concerned about tactics. But I also believe it may be due to a failure in communication. As I've said, sometimes when you don't tell other people what it is you're planning, they really just don't know. Often we might expect other players to know what we want to do without actually knowing the other player's skill level or even their propensity for teamwork. So there's a lot of assumptions being made that maybe might be a little bit unfair. Sometimes what we think is obvious might not be obvious to others. Sometimes just making use of the text chat might actually help. Who knows? But what do you guys think? Is it all just common knowledge, or is this something that should be taught through the game? And if you could send out advice to all Overwatch players right now, what would that advice be? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like if you've enjoyed the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And of course, don't forget to vote in the polls at the beginning of the video. If you haven't done that, you can rewind, vote, and you can watch this video again if you want to. My name is Panzer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.